Hi, this is Andrew Eckley, and I'm going to be talking about Vocabulator, a flashcard app. Specifically, we will be reviewing the UX design process. Katie is a 36-year-old female. She has an educational background in economics, is currently a project manager, is married, and in California. She is a busy professional woman who cares about her child's education. Katie needs an app for her son that will teach him sight words/vocabulary. This app needs to be easy to manage and update vocabulary per school requirements. Katie needs to be able to keep track of her son's progress. She also wants to be able to identify words that are difficult and repeat them more frequently. Katie needs to maintain a full-time position while ensuring her son is progressing with vocabulary. She will use this app during work hours and monitor and update the vocabulary after work. The app needs to be fun for her son to keep his attention for longer periods of time so Katie can get her work done. Katie needs a way to teach her son sight words/vocabulary in a very entertaining and effective way with minimal parental interaction because she's a busy working mom that has professional and educational goals for her son. We know this will be true once Katie's son meets and exceeds the school's recommended curriculum while Katie is able to meet her professional goals. Some of Katie's challenges are managing the time with work and distance learning with her son. Uh, she also finds it difficult finding an engaging way to teach her son vocabulary while she can work. She also needs to ensure her son is meeting and exceeding scholastic requirements while growing her career. To begin the UX design process, we did competitive and user research. Uh, the first thing we did was competitive analysis with three apps: Homer Reading, Reading Eggs, and Sight Words flashcards. The goal was to analyze each app for ease of navigation, the ability to accomplish goals, and the overall usability of the product. After doing this analysis, I interviewed three people with the goal of summarizing what they are doing, feeling, and thinking with regards to vocabulary learning apps. Next was to diagram out two primary user flows. One flow is learning vocabulary and the other is creating a slide deck. In the learn vocabulary flow, the first user will open the app, they'll be shown a splash screen, they will be asked whether or not to log in or sign up. They will be then taken to the home screen, they can choose their slide deck, they can process the deck, then they can complete the deck. With creating the new slide deck flow, they do the same beginning spots. They'll end up at the home screen. They will choose create new vocabulary deck. And if they choose yes, they'll enter in the details, they'll complete, then they'll save. And they'll repeat until done. Next, we sketched out some early wireframes. And what you see here is basically when the user first opens the app, they get the splash screen, they go through the onboarding process, then they log in and or sign up. The next set of wireframes demonstrate the learning vocabulary task. So they would click on Start Learning. They can scroll through left to right the different slide decks. They can choose one by clicking on it or tapping on it. And then they'll be brought into a window where they can immediately be shown words that they can hear and repeat. And they can click next or go home. The other flow is to create a new slide deck. So from the home screen, they can go to admin, they can add a slide deck, they can enter in the name for the slide deck, they can enter the word, and they can repeat the last step as many times as they want to fill their deck. Once the wireframes were done, then we came up with a usability test plan. And the scope was to basically test a prototype of the vocabulator app. And this was done on October 18th, 19th, and 20th. And it took about 10 to 15 minutes per participant. There are 3 participants total. And this is done by using Apple or Android phones, Skype, a laptop, and some course worksheets. Now within this test plan, we graded each of the tasks from 0 to 4, 0 being that there was really no problem at all, and 4 being this major catastrophe, we need to fix it. And the steps in between have their own grades as well. So the first task was to go through the onboarding process. Then the next task was to sign in. The next task was to review a slide deck. And the fourth task was to create a new slide deck. Now, once these user test plans were executed, we came up with a report of the things that the users noticed. And this table right here summarizes what they found. And basically, overall, it found that the onboarding process was not complete. It needed more detail. It needed to be able to show how to use the app. And at the current state, it just showed the features. There was some feedback on whether some buttons should be more prominent than others. They wanted to hear the word as soon as they go onto the slide, as opposed to clicking the button. And the ability to create a new slide deck was not intuitive from the home screen. They didn't know whether or not they need to go to the admin link to get there. So when adding a new slide, there should be an automated way to have the app record the word without the user having to record the word. So, given the feedback, the revisions were as follows. During the onboarding process, the slide you see here, we added this particular screen, which has an instructional video for onboarding. We added the home screen to make the Start Learning the prominent button, and we also added a button to add a slide deck instead of having to navigate through the admin route. Some of the non-visible improvements included reading the word in the slide deck when the slide appears. Also, machine learning will be used to automatically recognize a word being added and attach the pronunciation automatically instead of having the user record it. Now, some of the next steps are to work on the monitoring statistics flow. We reviewed the 2 major flows, but the statistics flow would allow Katie to see how well her son is doing and which words that need to be recycled or which words that can be crossed off the list. Step 2 would be to create a more high fidelity prototype with some more UI design, some pretty colors and that sort of thing. And then once those 2 things are done, do another round of user testing. So what did I learn? Well, the UX design process is a valuable tool for building products. Um, User testing was eye-opening, the feedback was valuable and improved the design greatly. And I found that the more times I iterated over the process, the better the product became. Some of the cons were that learning some of the tools took a little bit of time, but once I got used to them, it wasn't that bad. Interviewing was not my strong suit, but I think with practice I could get a lot better at it. Thank you, and have a good day.